Hello and welcome to We with Sandrian. And today I have a very special guest to me, Rochelle Samuel. And like all my guests, okay, this lady is really hard. I've been tracking her down. It's been a long time. Let's just say that. She's a very busy young lady, but I'm so happy, Rochelle, to have you here with us today. So welcome to We with Sandrian.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. So Rochelle, tell us a little bit about Rochelle Samuel.
Sure. Well, I am from Maryland, but I currently live out in Long Beach, California. I moved there about 3 years ago in order to pursue a manufacturing career over in one of our plants. I've been working there for the past few years. I've worked in the corporate environment, and now most recently switched over to a sustainability manager position. I'm really passionate about the environment and really just reducing humans' impact on the earth. And one of the ways that I choose to do that is by working for a manufacturing company. Manufacturing is one of those industries that's here to stay. We make construction products, we make high performance materials, all things that aid us in the way we work, play, live, eat. You probably see our products anywhere. And so my professional mission is just to, in any small way I can, to make an impact on that. Then, of course, in my personal life, I try to live environmentally friendly as I can. I love to dance. I love to sing. And I just enjoy life out on the beach, really, out in LA. But yeah, let me know what else you want to know. I kind of want to live at the place.
Well, no, you're really, I'm in Canada and today's a little cold. I wish I was in LA too.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Well, thanks for that. And so you're a sustainable manager. Tell us, what is a sustainable manager?
Sure. It's actually a new role. Sustainability is not a new word. I mean, it was coined in the 70s by the EPA, Environmental Protection Agency. But really, companies are just now starting to invest in it, particularly the manufacturing industry, the construction industry, which I work in. Sustainability manager, essentially, I'm developing the strategy for our company. I work for one of our businesses that manufactures roofing shingles. So those roofs on your house, I might have had something to do with the manufacturing of it. But essentially, roofing products, construction products in general, do have an environmental impact, either by the extraction of the materials from the earth, the manufacturing of the materials, which I'm a part of, and then installing it into your building, and then even the operation of your building as well. So essentially, I work to kind of think of all those angles, think of the life cycle of our products, and reduce the environmental footprint as much as we can. Our company has committed to some public goals. So like a lot of companies, we're all trying to reduce our environmental impact and really reduce carbon emissions by 2050. A lot of companies have signed into the UN climate goals, or if you heard of science-based targets, we have to reduce the temperature. If you're familiar with global warming, we have to reduce the temperature by 2.5 degrees Celsius, I believe, by 2050, in order to basically not irreversibly negatively impact the Earth's climate. And so a lot of companies have signed on to these goals, including mine. And my job is how are we going to do that? Just developing a strategy, working with our manufacturing plants, working with our supply chain, working with our purchasing and procurement to ensure that we are really just again, we're going to continue to make our products. That's probably not going to stop. We're going to need buildings for years to come. But how can we, reorient the building industry that we're not negatively impacting the environment? So that's basically a high level of what I do. And then that obviously there's projects that come into it.
That is quite, for a young person like yourself, sustainability management. But I like the fact that it's more about keeping the environment, saving the environment for the future. And I guess having a young person is perfect, so you can take us into that place, right? Can I ask you, because you look very young, to carry such a large hat, and the role that you play. How old are you?
I'm 30. I just turned 30
you're
4
pretty
weeks
young.
ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna ask you, Rochelle. Tell me. So I know you care about the environment. You're a sustainability manager. You're in the construction industry, if I caught that right.
Construction products.
What kind of? Sorry.
Construction products.
Construction products.
Manufacture. Yeah.
Sounds a lot like male-dominated things, still, right? I know we're switching, but a lot of male-dominated field sort of things you're talking about. But how did you get here? So what courses, or is it something you always liked and you just randomly you ran into it? What brought you here?
Great question. So my background's in engineering. To be honest, in high school, I didn't know what engineering was. I just had a good teacher. I knew I loved chemistry, and my chemistry teacher, when I went to him to ask him to major in chemistry, he recommended that I do chemical engineering instead, which I had no idea what that was. And I actually have sent him a letter thanking him, because I don't know. I'd definitely be somewhere different today if he hadn't really intervened there. So I applied and I got into the engineering school at University of Maryland. I did chemical engineering for a few years, about 2 years, until I switched over to environmental engineering. And again, this was due to a professor. I took this class on alternative fuels. It's called biofuel. So basically taking organic material and developing a fuel out of it instead of, extracting oil and gas, which is a very highly a negative practice to do that will negatively impact the environment. So we're taking just organic material and just converting that into a fuel. I thought that was the coolest thing ever. And so I took his class afterward, and it was on energy and environment. And that's where I really learned, how basically everything we've been doing, the industrial revolution, cars and buildings and planes, even farming, agriculture, everything that humans have been doing has impacted the environment for years. And there's a lot of people working on it. And I realized that I wanted to be one of those people to work on this, because really it's a social issue. Like, we all should care about it. Not all of us need to work in it, but we all should care about it. And I just found that was the best way for me to kind of orient my studies. So I switched my major that next year, which my parents weren't happy about, because I had to take an extra year to finish my courses. And, a lot of, as a civil and environmental engineer, a lot of like construction management courses, you take statics, physics. I even took some organic chemistry because of my my initial chemical degree, which actually does help me now, because I can look at the names of chemicals and know what they are. Let me think what other courses. Even like engineering economics, understanding how business works, project planning. But even when I graduated, I wanted to get some more experience. So I went on to do my master's, and I did that. It was in environmental engineering, but as a subset called sustainability and green design. So that's really where I think I got my business acumen. There were a lot of students in our classes that had already worked before. So I went straight to grad school, but there's a lot of students that already worked before. Good for you. I would not recommend.
But at least you're young and look where you are. At 30, you already finished grad school and you're in a place that you're enjoying and you want to be, right? So that's a good thing, instead of waiting and doing other things, and then at 50 you do it. I think you went on the right path.
It all worked out. It all worked out in the end. But it was a challenge. I went to Carnegie Mellon, which is a very rigorous school out in Pittsburgh. And it's just, again, most of my classmates worked already. They already knew what they were doing. And I kind of came in there, this green person, green. But I learned a lot, really. Honestly, my grad school degree, I probably learned the most. They had a sustainability engineering class, just talking about how we incorporate sustainability into engineering disciplines, because we don't necessarily get taught that. And also how the industry and business approaches sustainability greenwashing that can occur, which is a term that means when a company states false claims about how environmentally friendly they are. They might say something. I'm very good at being able to tell when they're not telling the truth.
We need more people like you out there. We really do. Because I'm sure lots of companies, pretend that they're environmentally friendly.
Yeah, they do. Or they set goals and you have no idea, how they're working on it, what they're doing. So I can say for sure. So all this to say, me going to my role now, well, there's a few steps for me to get there, but me getting into my role now, I can say like I know what we're doing because I'm doing it, right? And I know whatever we say we're doing, it's my job to ensure that we're working towards it and we're getting to the goals that we have really committed to. And there are a lot of companies out there that are doing good, that are doing well. It's just reading between the lines and sometimes having an insider view if they're actually
It's different when you have the insider view. Rochelle, you talked about challenges. So tell me, for the person who probably wants to go into their master's, directly into the grad program, or just somebody who's struggling in general with some decision or something, how did you get over your challenge? What motivated you? What was your driving force?
Well, I would say for the motivation, I'm a very mission-oriented person. I think once you have a vision or goal that you're working towards, I knew exactly where I wanted to be. When I finished, I knew I wanted to work into the construction or construction products industry because besides, transportation, it's one of the major impacts to our environmental footprint in the U.S. So knowing that, it was easy to stay on course. I knew where I was going, and I would say for anyone going to grad school, that is definitely, you should know why you're there, because it's the worst thing to be just go to grad school just to learn. You need to have something to get out of it. Otherwise, it's just going to be a waste of your time and money. And you don't want to do that, right?
No, not in grad school for sure.
No. Small point about that. You also should not be paying for grad school, though you should definitely apply for scholarships. But the other thing was that
that's a good one too.
Yes,
okay.
Yes, apply for scholarships. You should never pay to get a grad school education, in my opinion. So the other thing is that in undergrad at University of Maryland, nothing against it, it was just a very large school. And I was a number mostly, but I went to a smaller private graduate school. And while I was there, I had much more interaction with my professors. My professors knew what my name was. There was a lot of camaraderie with the students, and everyone in grad school, we're all there to learn. Like we were all there with a goal. And so there really wasn't anybody slacking off, like there was always somebody to help. So I would say the second part is community. I didn't realize how important community was until I got to grad school. I think in undergrad, I kind of just coasted the same way I did in high school and somehow ended up with good grades. But in grad school, I definitely had, study partners. I would do my homework with people. I had people to talk to. And being a predominantly Asian institution, I also had a great group of other Black graduate students to talk to, which I can't say how much, I don't know where I'd be without them, to be honest. I can't say how much they impacted my academic career, just having people to just go down and just vent about what I was dealing with, and they understand, from a unique perspective where I'm coming from. That was really invaluable. So I would say having a goal, and also you're having a community for whatever challenge you're trying to get through. Those are two things that helped me.
Okay, perfect. So thanks for that. So guys, you heard it. So mission-oriented, she's a mission-oriented person, and have a good community. And then some other things, of course, for her, she went to a smaller grad school, so she was part and belong, and she felt that she was belong. But the community, I think, is really important too.
And your family too.
Huh?
I said, and your family, just to say.
Yes, and your family.
I call my mom and vent to her too.
Yes, and just because I know her family, and I had her sister also on my YouTube, I know her family Very, very supportive, and it's part of your community also, right? So thanks.
Mm-hmm.
It's good to have a good family background. But when you can't get the family support, guys, still make your own community. Gravitate towards the
Right.
people that's mission oriented with you. We're
Mm-hmm.
gonna chat a little about, because I know you got an award. So tell us about that. Like, I was blown off.
Sure.
I was excited. I'm like, I know her. I know her. I wouldn't say how I know her, but I was really, and congrats even before, because
Thank you.
your award exemplifies women, and you. So tell us about the award. So what's the name of the award, first of all?
It's called the Step Ahead Award, and it's from the National Association of Manufacturing.
Mm-hmm. So what was the name? What's the purpose of it?
It's an award to exemplify women that are leaders in the manufacturing industry. And there's a part for women under 30 and also women that are over 30 as well.
Wow. Okay. So guys, you heard it here. She got the Step Forward Award, and it's an award that recognizes and exemplifies women in leadership in manufacturing. So really congrats to you.
Thank you.
Did you get the under 31 or the above 30?
Kind of both. So the person, funny story, the person who nominated me, I guess didn't know my age and thought I was older than I was. So they nominated me for the older award, and then I went to them and I told them my age, and so they told me, "Oh, well, yeah, you're an emerging leader, but you can keep whichever one you like." And I said, "Okay." So I'll just say I'm an honoree. Yeah.
Wow. So guys, you got both awards, the over 30 and the under 30. That's how good she is. So you know what? How many other women were nominated? Like, how many people did you get this award over?
So for the 30 was a 30 under 30. So there was 30 of them. And then for the over 30 was 100 women in the US.
Wow. Rochelle, honestly, congrats. And listen, I know you said you kind of not breeze through, I think that's high school and, undergrad, but clearly you had to put in a lot of work still between high school and your undergrad to be here. So, I know you weren't just slacking off and going through, but you said you had a good teacher.
Yeah, I wasn't slacking off.
Who were motivating you, and probably an older sister and brother,
Janelle is definitely always motivation.
Sorry?
Yeah. Oh, I said my sister Janelle is always motivation. I wanted to be smarter than her. So
I was smarter. I would. But I know you're in very different fields though, but
yes. No, just in school, she would get good grades. So I wanted to get good grades too. She was like my role model to try to.
But that's a good motivation though, and for those people who have siblings and friends. For me, my siblings were older, so we weren't having that competition. But in college, I had friends, and I'm going to put them, they might be really, but I always wanted to get a better grade than them. Biology was my thing, so genetics was my thing. So that was my motivation. And for you, it was your sister, and it worked out for both of you.
Yeah.
So it worked out
we can win. We can all win. Sometimes motivation or competition is healthy to really push you to do better.
Yes, I like that. Competition is healthy, and we can all win. It just motivated you to do better. And everybody use each other as a motivation to do better, everybody would win, right? But congrats on getting both awards, and your hard work paid off. And I'm glad you said you had a chemistry teacher who sort of got you into engineering, and here you are at 30, and you got the over 30 and the under 30 award, Step Award. Over 130 women, basically 30 women and then 100. So congrats, really, Janelle. And I really think you deserve that award, to exemplify women in leadership in manufacturing, of all.
Thank you.
So congrats. We are very proud of you, and everybody who sees this video is going to be very proud, I can tell you that. Let's just talk a little bit about any advice that you want to give any young girl, any Black little student who's struggling, anybody actually who wants to not necessarily get into manufacturing, but just do something that appears difficult or a little lost along the way.
Yeah. I knew this question was coming, but I didn't think of something. Well,
we can take it in two parts. Any advice? Just think about your life though. You know, you said you had a good teacher who so for somebody, a student who's kind of lost, what are some things we can help them with, you know, like, and later on for a person who wants to make that big move, anything from your life you can look at that helped you? I know you talked about community and those sort of stuff.
Like I said, I didn't know what I was doing when I first got into college. And a part of it is no fault of our own. There might be times where you get into a situation or get into a class or a cohort and you realize that maybe you're not on the same level as anybody else. Let's say that happens. And that happened to me. You know, people come into the engineering school with experience, or their mom or dad was an engineer, or they interned at NASA, you know, and not everyone has that experience. And for, you know, typically a lot of our minority students may not have gotten the opportunity to have that experience. So you're already starting somewhere that may not be on the same level as others, but that shouldn't deter you. So again, having a goal, having community, I stand by those two things. Finding one or two mentors. It could be a teacher, it could be a professor, it could be a counselor at school. A lot of schools have like a center for minorities. And we had a center for minorities in science and engineering. We also had a woman in engineering department, and I was very active in both. I was there. I worked for both offices because, you know, in STEM fields in general, but and in engineering especially, you know, I was one, you know, out of 2 Black women in the whole class, right?
Wow.
Or I was 1 out of 5 Black people in the whole class. So being especially a double minority when you are African-American and you're a woman in a male-dominated field and in a white or Asian-dominated field, it can be a little daunting. And I've done summer camps. I've talked to younger women particularly. I just always say, don't let that deter you. Even if you're the only person in the room that looks like yourself, take it as a badge of honor, hold your head high, walk into that classroom. Don't sit in the back, you know, sit somewhere in the front.
Yes.
Engage, get the teacher to know who you are, because they will know who you are already just from you looking different. But you don't want to be remembered for that. You know, be remembered for answering questions or getting good grades. You know, that's what you want to be remembered for. Just do the work. There's no reason why anyone has to see you differently or really treat you differently. They're going to see you differently regardless. I want to say that it doesn't matter, you know, how much you want to not see color or not see gender. The fact of the matter is, when you get into these industries, you're going to be one of the few. And you just have to
gender and color. So
yes, gender and color.
You had two negatives sort of working against you, right?
Yeah.
But you said a few things.
Sure.
I'm going to start with the last thing you said, actually. Especially, you said you were one of 2 Black students in the class. The field's you're already a woman and you're a Black woman, so you have a few strikes against you. But you said, don't let it deter you. Walk into the class and don't be remembered. And I like that. Don't be remembered for the person that wasn't doing well and just because she was Black. Be remembered for the person that was answering the questions, the person who was on top of work. So even if you're already different, stand out for the right reasons now. Right. So I really like that. So you weren't deterred, and you say you talked to young girls and stuff, just encourage them. So guys, I want to say that to all my young ladies, all my young viewers out there, and everybody actually, don't be deterred because you're the only person standing in the class or sitting in the class. It doesn't mean you have to be a failure. You have to remember for something negative. Also, I like the fact that you said, go in front, don't sit in the back. Don't already put yourself in the back of the class like you're already a failure. Put yourself at the front, right? Study. You said it's a lot of work. Grad school is a lot of work. But you set up yourself with you said the mentors, which is good too. So find the right group of people that's going to help you, to motivate you. You had your sister and all this stuff. And you said something else, which I thought, thank you for saying that. Your parents weren't engineers or anything like that. They lived simple lives, right? But you wanted something different for yourself. And when you stumbled into it, literally, you didn't have a clue what it was. You just knew you wanted to do something different. And you sort of build on that. It wasn't chemistry that you tried engineering. Oh, this is good. Environmental engineering, you know, and you build on that. So don't let your parents' background deter you from where you need to go, something totally different that you never dreamt about, or your parents never dreamt about. I can guarantee you, they never, environmental engineering was not in the vocabulary.
But they dream about it for you.
I was growing up too, right? So
yeah, but they dream about it for you. Being first generation, parents came here for a better life. They dream about this for you. This is never, my parents never. They always told me to do whatever I wanted. They never made me do anything. I chose engineering, like I said, and really just whatever I do, they would have been fine with it, And so I really appreciate that. Just gave me just room to just do what I want to do, make my mistakes, figure things out, which I did, and now I've gotten here. So.
Wow. So thanks to your parents for giving you that freedom to do what you want to do and for supporting you doing the things you wanted to do. Another thing you talked about, you said, so you talked about being goal oriented, but mission oriented. I like mission oriented. I think of Mission Impossible, you're on track. You're not going to
think of the end goal. Yeah. Because little things, you might get bogged down in the little things and think that, I'm not doing anything. I'm not making an impact. But think about the end goal. That always keeps me going. I might be doing this little project, but this little project could be good at this, be part of this bigger project, that way part of this bigger project that'll, save the world one day. You never know. Like it's never, nothing is ever too small. And I always look at things that way. And that's what keeps me motivated when I feel challenged or when I'm feeling down about,
I like it.
Things not going the way I want at that time. So
I like it. Little projects. You don't need to start at a massive one, just little one, building it. You will change the world one day. So thank you very much for that. Thank you for sharing that with us. Is there anything else you want to say in closing before we end this video?
Yeah, just there's no such thing as a barrier unless you make it yourself.
Wow.
So just continue, just keep moving. Don't let anything stop you. You're your only barrier.
I like that. So I'm going to end on that and I'm going to repeat it. You're your only barrier. And you heard it from Rochelle. She's the woman who got the STEP award for females under 30 and females over 30, because she was just at the perfect age. And the award was recognizing women with exemplifying roles in leadership and manufacturing. That's the gist of it. I like that. Exemplify, like recognizing women with leadership roles in manufacturing. And it wasn't, well, I don't want to call it some career, but we have some careers that's female oriented. It wasn't one of those, and I'm happy that they recognize women for stepping out of the box and going into those roles. So thank you very much, Rochelle. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
I appreciate your story. I guarantee you some little girl or boy would hear this and would know, because you're different, you don't have to be remembered for being negatively different.
Right.
Thank you so much. All right, guys. Thanks, Rochelle Samuel. Guys, this is Sandra from We With Sandra. And remember to like, remember to subscribe, remember to pass it on to a friend. Leave a comment. If you need to get in touch with Rochelle, get to me. I'll pass. I'm sure she'll love to answer questions.
Yeah.
And she does speak to young ladies and so forth. So if anybody needs to reach out to Rochelle, you can send a comment my way. Thanks, Rochelle.
Thank you.